Cracking. We gonna get it cracking. Crack, crack, crack. Hey, everybody, what's cracking? What's up, you guys? Hey, you already know what it is. It's Monday night, and we live, baby. We live, and you already know from the thumbnail, you know from the trailer, you know from the teaser who I got backstage. He's back there. The man is, but let's go to the chat, the busy fish, and they've been busy already. Let me say what's up to Rakistan, Geek Boy, Elizabeth Fish, Florida Fish Rescue, Patty, Petites, Tanks. You know she's here. S. Dot, thank you for coming through my Fish Tank Aquatics. Please do Corey after Zenzo. Let's see if I can get the man there. Isadora M, thank you for coming through. E. Davis, thank you for coming through. RB Animals Rescue, friend of the channel, thank you for coming through. Multiple Aquariums, that's Diego, Skulls, Muppet, Mr. 3000 in this thing. Already questions coming in. Tropical, what's cracking? Thank you for coming through. Listen, you guys, it's Monday. Real quick, how's your Monday been? Thank you for coming by, stopping through with the biz real quick, so that we can hopefully lighten off your Monday. You know, everybody has a case of the Mondays. You come through, have a little fun, have a couple of laughs, and we end this thing. All right. I see my mod Monica Lynn is in this thing, so that means we ready to rock. Ready to rock. Listen, you guys, we've got a good one here. You already know what it is. We've had some agreements in. Tazawa said he said he's not scared of the hot spot, so he's ready to rock. He's ready to go. And so we're going to do it. We're going to do it right now. Not right now, but right now. Anyway, I'm not even going to keep you guys waiting. Here we go. We're going to bring in the man. Zenzo for Tazawa.
All right. Good evening. Doing well. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
All right. Good to see everybody. Hope everyone's doing well on this Monday.
Yes. How's your day been, sir?
It's been okay. Just busy working on a few projects and stuff like that. But it's been pretty good.
Very good. Very good. So, for those who don't know, and I've seen your room before you transformed it into what it is now. I've been following you. You've gotten the elusive mud skippers and you've tamed them. You've been doing some big things. Your fish room. How many tanks do you exactly have?
Right now in there, I've got 24 aquariums in that fish room. Okay. They're pretty much all display tanks. So if anyone is not familiar with my fish room, I kind of have it set up kind of gallery style. So most of them are kind of more for aesthetics and enjoyment versus like just, crowding in a bunch of tanks for breeding or anything else like that, which I've done before. I do have a few tanks that are kind of like that, but mostly it's just set up for aesthetic purposes and keeping different fish that I enjoy. So 24 down there, and then I've got 2 in my office right here, and then I've got a couple in the living room. Actually, I have 3 systems in here. So just, I think we're like 31 or so total.
Okay. And is that looking to get bigger or?
No, not really. So I think for me, everyone has got the multiple tank syndrome. For me, it's kind of the opposite, where it's not so much, quantity and trying to get more and more tanks. I could do it as far as taking care of them and affordability, just because of the resources that I have. But it's more so, my enjoyment, and I want to be able to spend time with the tanks and enjoy them and tweak them, and not just kind of collect more and more aquariums. So my wife already said no more tanks inside the house. So I'm kind of limited as far as putting anything in the living room or anything like that. I could put more in my office, but I also like it to be comfortable in here and not too humid. So just some kind of smaller nano tank setups in this room.
Sure.
So everything's down in the basement. So the basement is, as you know, set up nicely, as you know, and I'm able to enjoy all my tanks down there.
All right, that's what's up. And I'm gonna ask you a question since you mentioned the wife here. I'm king of off the cuff questions, but I was at Aquashella, and I know that John and Lisa, they were telling their story about how they became a husband and wife fish keeping and a fish tubing couple. How is that, or how did you work that out?
Well, I mean, as long as I've known my wife, I've always been into fish. So she knew that I enjoyed fish. She didn't know how much I enjoyed them. So, it's one thing to have a couple of aquariums, in your apartment, and, one in the kitchen and living room and stuff like that. But it's something else to have, what we all know to be kind of our sickness with lots of fish tanks. So, so she knew that I was into fish, and we talked about it, but she didn't realize the depth of how nerdy I was about fish and science and things like that. So, and she's not into it at all. So she enjoys it. Like she likes to look at them, and she likes the sound of the water. Sure. But she probably goes down to the fish room like maybe once a month for like 5 minutes just to see what's going on. And then we've got a couple tanks in the living room, and she kind of just sees them, but she doesn't really, she's not involved at all. I don't think she's ever fed any of my fish or anything. So,
right.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been in the fish keeping hobby?
Well, so a long time. I first became enamored with fish back in the 1970s as a young kid, going to the public aquarium and being able to enjoy all of their displays. I was really drawn to the freshwater tanks at that time as a young kid, and then the koi ponds and everything in Golden Gate Park here in San Francisco. And then, like every kid, I would go down the creek and collect tadpoles and everything else. I had goldfish and all the things that kids do, and so I was like 10, 11, 12 years old with fish tanks and always really into that. But I would say I when I got serious into fish was probably I want to say it was 2000, maybe 2000 or 2001 was when I started to kind of like get super excited about, okay, like I'm going to get this tank and I'm going to do geophagus, I'm going to do gouramis, and and that's when I started to have like multiple tanks. And so that's 21 years ago, I guess. So it's been a while. Okay. I've been around. I'm a little older than I look, so yeah.
I was just about to say that I looked at your Instagram, and I was like, I know he probably platinumed out his hair or his beard, or
It's natural. It's natural. I started going gray in high school, actually. So I was prematurely gray as a kid, or teenager, whatever. Not a lot. I had a few, and by my mid-20s, I was kind of like a bunch of them, and by my mid-30s, I was pretty much salt and pepper. I'm like, I'm not doing this, at 32, 33 years old. So I was just dyed my hair, right? Okay. I didn't want to be a 33-year-old guy with white hair. So, and then finally, it's like, forget it, just go all white. So it's all white, pretty much. Yeah.
Very cool. Because I know when you cut the beard off, it's just like, man, this guy is like 30 all over again.
Right. Yeah. Well, the stubble's white though. So yeah.
Very good. Very good. Now, you had mentioned breeding fish. What were some of the ones that you bred? Or a better question, what was the best fish for you to breed, and then what was the hardest fish for you to breed? How about that?
Well, so I've never, not too often have I bred fish on purpose. It's always been kind of like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, that's fine. Okay. And it wasn't really anything that I was super focused on, except for when I was breeding African cichlids on purpose for a while and had a whole system and lots of tanks and was selling them at the store. I've bred I actually was counting the other day because I'm working. I work for Aquarium Co-op now, and I'm working on a potential program for our members, and was counting all the different types of fish that I've bred, and it hasn't been that much. It's only like 12 or 14 different species of fish that I've bred. So that's not a lot for, just compared to a lot of people that have bred, dozens and dozens.
Sure.
As far as difficulty, nothing really has been difficult. Like, because I haven't tried to get something to spawn.
All right, subtle flex.
I know that like my gold ocellatus, I wanted to spawn for a long time, and they never did until I introduced some new fish. So it was just getting the right male in there, I suppose.
Sure.
And then they spawned for me. My 5-star generals, they spawned a bunch for me. I've had multiple spawns from them. It's not the easiest thing to manage because the fry are super tiny when they're first hatched, and they kind of move around like this big cloud of fry. But they start to become aggressive with each other once they get to a certain size. So you have to like separate them, and there's just kind of the aggression thing. But unfortunately, I've been trying to get them to spawn ever since, and they haven't. So I don't know if just the female's just kind of like done with the eggs or what. But yeah,
Females are picky in that area.
I guess, yeah. It's just, and I've tried the different combinations of temperature and water changes, and it's just. She probably said, like, I've given you lots of spawns and I've made hundreds of fish, and I just want to eat my food and relax. I don't know, but so.
Have you tried candlelight dinner, berry, white, and low light?
Not yet.
Let's talk fish collecting. Have you been on any fish collecting trips? Have you collected anything out there in the wild, or would you like to?
I have not. I would like to. I was supposed to be going to Peru next month, but some things happened, so not able to go, unfortunately. Okay. But yeah, I do aspire to do that sometime or a few times. But I've never collected anything in the wild other than, well, I mean. Yes, like catching minnows in a stream or something local, sure. Right? I've done that kind of stuff before, but not like any expeditions to Central America, South America, Africa, anything like that. So,
okay,
one day, yeah.
All right, and your San Francisco area, that's Bay Area. You probably you have large bodies of water around there. Any casual fishing that do you have time to do at all?
No, I'm not a fisherman. I'm not into fishing. I think the last fish that I caught is I caught a smallmouth bass probably like 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
And I kind of looked at it, and that was, it's just not really my thing.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, that'll work. I'm gonna ask you how you got started in fish, like maybe your first fish when you were younger or whatever. Actually, let's go with that. Let's see what you got there. What started you in fish, and maybe your first fish that you
Yeah, so I think what started me was, again, kind of going back to my early childhood as a kid and going to the public aquarium. So here in San Francisco, we have this amazing public aquarium, and I would go there and just be fascinated with the fish. And they had all the the giant saltwater exhibits, and they had this room that you could go into, and the fish would swim around you in a circle like these big. They're probably like a tuna or something, a giant schooling fish, mackerel or something. But but I was always drawn to their smaller, dingier, biotope style setups, whether they were paludariums, aquariums, terrariums, whatever. I was always drawn to that stuff just because I thought it was so cool to see these little ecosystems, almost like this little slice of nature that's put in a glass box, like its own little world. And I was always fascinated with like these little worlds inside of a case versus just like the fish itself. So again, as a kid, collected animals. I loved animals, everything that I could catch or get my hands on: birds, mice, hamsters, lizards, insects, mosquito larvae, frogs, all that stuff. But I think I got my first aquarium. Again, I think I was probably like maybe 10 years old or so, and it was goldfish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, man. So you were out there catching everything, just out in the wild, huh? Just
Yeah, so for a while we lived up in Northern California in the country, and it's really, really country. So like, you could look around you and not see a house within miles. So you go down to the creek and you could catch all kinds of things and just find stuff. And so yeah.
very cool, very cool. I got a question from the chat.
All right.
Pep Aquatic says, "Hi, guy from Toronto. Here's a question for Zenzo. How have the functionality of his fish room changed since the remodeling with Dean and Corey?"
The functionality, well, the biggest change as far as the operation is concerned is we put a sink in the fish room. Before that, everything was going around the basement door to the garage sink, which makes water changes more time consuming
Sure.
and a little bit more frantic because you have to like watch the water, run around, turn it off, get the temperature. So having the sink right in there and having that hose right in that room makes it a lot easier to obviously fill tanks because I fill right from tap, and then also draining tanks because now I could pump and pump the water directly to that sink drain, and it's just much, much more efficient. Everything else that we've done in there was really more geared towards aesthetics and audio. So the walls are for audio. All those black panels in my wall where my walls are all black, that's 100% for audio.
Okay.
Anything else, the aesthetics and the insulation was just kind of an after effect of that. So that's why when I record down there, the audio is really good. You don't hear, the hum of essential air pump or anything like that because those are sound panels that are designed for like recording studios. Obviously, the lights were for aesthetics. You can get everything matching.
Sure.
The blacked out stands and everything. So yeah, pretty much everything was just set up for aesthetics. And to make it look better, before I had like PVC pipes on the ceiling and all kinds of stuff that you could see from my central air pump, and we hid all those behind the panels. So really, the main improvement was a sink. That was the biggest thing.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's just for anybody that's thinking about setting up a fish room, I will always say think about how you're going to fill water and drain water. That's the most important part before you think about stands and anything else, lights, electricity. Think about how you're going to get water in and out of your aquariums efficiently, and having a sink or drains or something like that is going to be optimal.
I tell you what, you've got one of the best looking fish rooms on the tube. Every time I look at the thing, the aesthetics are definitely pleasing to the eye. It looks like you have a buttload of room in there to walk around, like you said, gallery style. It's amazing, man. It looks great.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'm very fortunate to have that, and very fortunate to have Corey and Dean put that together for me. So, I'm really, really happy with it. I couldn't ask for, a better situation. And it's a perfect size. I mean, it could be larger. The other half of that basement is my home gym, so I'm not going to take any room away from that. But if I took away my home gym and went to a regular gym, then I could, expand it. But no, I really do think it's just perfect as far as, it being large enough to enjoy, but not too large to where it's just becoming a full-time job.
We're going to get to those gym questions too, because
all right.
I asked Jason from Primetime Aquatics some muscle questions against you, and we're going to get to that. I got to ask you the same thing. It's coming up.
All right. Okay.
Real quick, what capacity do you work for Corey Aquarium Co-op?
So full time. So so up until the beginning of June, I was working for a company, a large publicly traded company in the distribution field, and was a director for that company. Worked for them for almost exactly 10 years, actually. Okay. And I would say probably for the last maybe 3 or 4 years, Corey has kind of been my YouTube mentor, where I'd ask him for advice, and he would kind of give me some very good advice and give me some direction as far as how I could, do a better job. And we just kind of continued to, build a relationship and friendship over the years.
Sure.
And when things progressed with his own YouTube channel and got to a point where he was ready to do some different things, like he always does, he invests in people. And so he's done that before with Jimmy. And you can see where a long time ago, Corey was filming with, a camcorder and just kind of, editing on his own. And then he brought Jimmy on, and, Jimmy's one of the best videographer and editors that I've, ever seen. And obviously, everything really improved when he brought Jimmy on. And then as far as the business, bringing on a lot of people, like Randy and his experience on the logistics side, Irene, Candy, all these different people that have so many good qualities, Lizzie. So he kind of did the same thing with me, invested in me, and brought me over to manage the YouTube membership. So a lot of channels, larger channels, have the ability to have members, and members will pay a member fee to get additional content from a creator. And on our end, we wanted to make sure, Corey wanted to really make sure that the members that were paying on a monthly basis were getting something of value. Sure. And so bringing me on board is what we're focused on, bringing additional value of the membership to the YouTube members. So, right now we've got the Aquarium Co-op Club, which is like a fish club, but online. We just had our first our first guest speaker this past Saturday, and that's something that we will be doing on a monthly basis with speakers from all around the country and all around the world. We're also working on in-person events and a bunch of other things that are still in the works. So yeah, my capacity is managing basically the YouTube member engagement, okay, and some other things, but that's mainly what it is.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna have to ask John to put me a title on there. I am an high school educator. I teach biology, sophomores, physical science for freshmen, but I have a room that I don't put pictures up or anything. I have tanks. Mm-hmm. And I know that high school kids, they tend to have the attention span of a mosquito, but when I get them to look at the tanks and look at the fish, they start to focus a lot better. So right. I often ask my guests, what is your recommended starter fish?
Well, it really depends on the individual. There's so many things to factor in, right? Are you renting? Are you in a house? Are you in an apartment? Are you someone with financial resources? Are you a kid? I mean, so if you're a kid and you're living at your parents' house and you're 12 years old and you don't have a lot of space, you don't have a lot of money, it's going to be different.
Hold on. Let me.
Sure.
14-year-old, 14, 15-year-old. That's freshman, sophomore. That's where I'm at. Okay. Living with parents, high school students. They don't have a job yet.
Okay.
Could possibly be getting one.
So my advice, having once been a 14 and 15-year-old kid myself, is that 14 and 15-year-olds don't know what they like yet. And they also they're continuing to learn and grow as a human, right? And they're in the transition of becoming an adult from a kid. And there's a lot of different things going on, right? You're being interested in other people, etc. So my advice is that for anybody that's at that age, your interest may change in a second, right? You might, meet a boy or a girl, or you might, do something. You might get your driver's license in a year or two. Yeah. Things are going to change. So if you're going to get an aquarium, my advice would be to get something that's easy to take care of, that's pretty self-sufficient, that doesn't require a lot of attention. And not that we need to, not that we should be ignoring our aquariums, but let's say a lightly stocked planted tank with maybe a betta and some Corydoras and some small tetras or something like that. is a lot easier to manage than an African cichlid aquarium, right? So if you're 15 years old, I would say don't get an African cichlid aquarium because you don't know if you're going to like that 6 months from now, a year from now, and it's a lot of work, and you're doing water changes all the time, and they're fighting, and you're, hospital tanks and breeding, but if you had like a planted tank, and like, next maybe you're on a football team and the football season's busy,
Sure.
you could leave that tank alone for a couple of weeks with the plants in there and everything like that, and it should be fine.
Sure.
Where if you left your African cichlid tank alone for a couple of weeks, it could be a disaster. So that would be my advice.
Okay. All right. And if they're starting off, because like what I like to do is I'm definitely going to do a native tank. I'm here in St. Louis, Missouri, which should be pretty cool. But I also am trying to get a fish club after school for students who kind of just need something to do after school and are into the hobby. And at the end of the year, issuing out tanks, and they can go fishing in my tanks at the school for their own fish once they know how to take care of them. So I've asked the chat, and we've went through a whole live stream with this, but what are maybe your top 3 that I should probably have in the classroom for them to fish out?
Live bears would be the number one, because they bear live fish. So there's kind of a lot of room for error, right? Because they make more of them, and they make more of them pretty easily. So whatever live bear that is, depending on your water conditions, I don't know what's like in Missouri, but guppies, mollies, platies, something kind of along that line, I think would be a good start. And people kind of maybe frown on guppies sometimes because they think it's a beginner fish, but there are some amazing guppies, as you know. So, and they're very colorful, and they're easy to take care of, extremely easy to take care of with some plants in the aquarium. So, I would do some live bears, maybe some hardier like tetras, that are common and not expensive. I'm trying to think what else you could do. Probably, yeah. I mean, you couldn't really like have a bunch of betas, but you could do like Danios and stuff like that because they're very hardy, but they're hard to catch because they're so fast. So, yeah, I'd probably just go with live bearers and maybe some tetras. I think it's hard to go wrong with that because they can usually be just fine in a community tank. Usually they're just fine with plants.
Sure.
And that's going to help them out, help them be successful.
Okay.
You could say like, other cool fish like shell dwellers and all kinds of stuff like that, which would be really fun, and they are fun to have in a classroom, but maybe that's not the best first fish for someone setting up their tank.
I'm trying to combat I just want a goldfish at the carnival, I'm gonna leave it in its bowl syndrome, or mommy, take me to Petco, I want to get a fish, and I grab the first fish that they have out there, which is like a glowfish or a glow betta, and they leave it in, and so if they know a little bit more about maybe they can go in there and at least not just grab and get and just go for it, So that's great. I like that.
Yeah, I would say goldfish are great. I have some in my little pond outside, but I think that's probably not the best first fish. People think they are, but us people that have kept goldfish know that they are large. They require more space than most people are equipped for.
Sure.
They don't do well with most plants, so you lose that functionality of having plants filter your water for you, and they're quite messy. So. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, do you currently keep? Well, I know the answer to this, but currently keep anything besides fish? Now, I know for a fact what you have in the tank, but aside from mud skippers, do you have like reptiles, mammals? You have dogs?
We have a dog.
Okay.
And we have a dog, and then everything else would be aquatic. Fish, snails, crabs. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, what is your biggest tank disaster that you've ever had?
Hmm. Um, well, one comes to mind, which I made a video about. It's not really a PG thing, but I'll basically.
It's like 9:30. We're good.
My wife and I, this was before we were married and we were dating, and I had a betta set up in my bedroom, and we came home from dinner and she knocked over the betta bowl and it broke and had to like quickly like scoop it up off the ground and clean up the mess, and there's broken glass everywhere and that kind of thing. So that would be one situation.
Okay.
Other than that, it's, I've had I've had a tank break before, and probably the classic thing that everyone does, which is overfilling the tank and water spilling out, and you're like, what's that sound? It's like, oh crap, I forgot. So but nothing like super disastrous. I mean, a couple of those are pretty bad, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah. Quick question from the chat. What is the least favorite fish and why?
I can't think of one off the top of my head. I probably would remember tomorrow, but honestly, I can't think of anything that I dislike enough to say it's my least favorite fish. And the reason why is I think every fish has its place. And I think, what's good for me may not be good for others, and vice versa. So there are fish that I won't keep just because it's not something that I enjoy. Like a King Kong parrot, as an example. It's not something that I particularly enjoy. I've seen them. I think they're cool looking, but it's just a fish that I've not had great experiences with, and it's not something I would seek to buy and have. Personally, I'm not a big fan of fish that have been altered to look a certain way that's not as natural, like the glow gene and all that stuff. I mean, I understand why they're in a hobby, and if it captures the attention of a 10-year-old kid and they end up being the next, Zenzo or Corey or Dean or Drew or whatever, then that's great. But again, not something that I would be interested in. I don't think I would ever buy a glow betta on purpose for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to buy one for a clickbait video or anything. So I probably would never have one unless I was doing some kind of experiment and doing some study to compare them versus others. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think somebody put in scooping up fish with broken glass. Sounds like a pain.
Yeah, the betta was fine, and it lived another couple of years or so after that event. So yeah.
Right. Rookie mistake. Anything that happened? You're Mr. Perfect right now. Any rookie mistakes?
Well, I'm not so definitely. I am not Mr. Perfect. I always make mistakes, and I probably will make mistakes until the day that until I'm no longer here. So, even recently, I haven't even really shared this yet on my channel, but I moved an aquarium recently. Had a friend come over and help me move it. It was a big tank, 65 gallons.
Oh, wow.
And it's planned and everything. Didn't want to have to catch all the fish.
Sure.
Because it would have been very difficult to catch all the little fish and everything like that. So lowered it down to a couple of inches of water, which is still extremely heavy. We were able to move the tank with, so I took out the larger fish, took the discus out, etc. Left the small fish in there. The problem is when I did that, as we're moving, water sloshing back and forth. And I think what happened as water sloshing back and forth, it kicked up a lot of the detritus that's in the substrate, and probably had some kind of spike of something and lost some of the fish that were in there because they just either became asphyxiated from what was in the water. And so I lost some fish that way, versus if I had taken the time to take all the plants out and the wood and everything and catch every single last fish, I probably wouldn't have had any losses. But because I did it this way and was kind of trying to cut a corner, I lost some. So I don't know if that's a rookie mistake or just a mistake that, but I mean, I've done the simple things like forgetting to put the chlorinator in the tank because I was rushing and doing water changes
Oh
and
my
stuff like
God.
that and losing fish. So,
The
yeah, I mean,
worst.
I think I've made all the normal mistakes that anybody has made. Um, versus overfilling tanks, forgetting that you're draining a tank, or stuff like that. So yeah,
Sure. I've done the same, and it sucks. Oh,
yeah,
I lost some
yeah.
dragon bloods that way, and I couldn't believe it. And you just, when you do it, you're like, what the hell? I'm better than this.
Yeah. And so that's why when I do make those mistakes, I usually make them public. I usually make a video about it and share it so that other people can learn from my mistake and hopefully think twice when they're doing a water change, when they're doing something, to think, oh, like he killed his fish doing that, or something happened. So let me just take that extra 15 seconds to double check. So now I'm like, I haven't made that mistake in a long time. And so like every time I do a water change, like I'm just like, okay, did I dechlorinate? And if there's ever a time when I'm not sure, I just add some more. I just add a couple more squirts in there just to be
Absolutely.
safe. Yeah.
Absolutely. I understand that one all the way. Um, First tank size that you had when you were talking, you saw the aquarium, they got you into fish keeping, you had goldfish.
My first aquarium was okay. So typical goldfish mistake is we had one of those big bowls. It's probably like a 5-gallon goldfish bowl, but I had goldfish in it. So then we got a 20-gallon tank, which was still too small. They were fancy, so it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
So it was a 20. So upgraded from the bowl with the Airstone and the Anacris to a 20-gallon with the undergravel filter and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Okay. Ever been in the middle of a bench press and remember something in the fish room and had to stop a rep or two?
Uh, no, but fortunately, my gym is right next door, and I can do both at the same time. So I can, so like for example, I actually did it today. I was doing some water changes, and I was I was lifting today. Actually, I was doing some bench press and stuff like that. And so I'll peek my head in the through the door, look at the water level, see where it's draining or filling, go back and know, okay, I've got a few minutes, do a couple sets, go back and check. So, but no, I've never had to like stop like mid set. But sometimes in between sets, it might be a little bit more time as I'm moving a hose or something like that. But it really does make it makes my time very efficient as far as doing two things at one time, which is nice because I can, like today I did probably a 75 gallon or 70% water change on a 125 and about a 75% water change on a 75 while I was working out. So I was able to do both, and it's very easy.
I think I know the answer to this question. You got a couple. I got a couple more. But if you wasn't fish keeping, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't fish keeping, I don't know. I mean,
Bodybuilding.
no. I enjoy working out, but it's not the same kind of passion that I have for aquariums. And especially now at my age, it's more just to kind of maintain my strength and my size and everything, and not like because I love doing it.
Sure.
I enjoy it sometimes, but there are days when I go to the gym and I don't want to, and I just do it because I know I need to get it done.
Sure.
Which is different than fish, where I'm like, oh, like what can I do next? Like sometimes I go in down there and I just kind of look around, like what can I tinker with, and I start to like make more work for myself just because I enjoy spending time in the fish room and like tinkering around and like doing whatever. So not even the same. I don't know. I mean, I've had a lot of hobbies that I've done over the years and a lot of activities, sports, etc. But I don't know what I would do if I weren't keeping fish. I mean, I'm into other stuff, but I think it's because of fish. Like I'm really into cameras, and so maybe I would really get into photography. But I'm only into cameras because I got cameras to make videos about fish. Gotcha. And it just so happens that I became like a geek about cameras, and I probably watch more camera videos than I do fish videos and anything else combined. So, yeah.
Very cool. All right. I like that. What would you tell your 25-year-old self?
Well, about what? I would tell him a lot of things. I mean, 25. I just got married to my first wife, so
Okay.
I maybe give some advice there.
Yeah.
It, I mean,
3 years later than 2 years later than you. I was like 27.
yeah. I mean that's So I turned 47 in a couple months, so that's a long time ago for me. So I don't know what I would tell my 25-year-old self as far as fish are concerned, because at that age, 25. So that was actually right before like I started to get to geek out about fish and what we talked about before.
Sure.
I think I remember I think I was like 26 when I bought my first acrylic aquarium and everything. So it's a 55-gallon TrueView or something like that. But 25-year-old self, I'd probably give financial advice or something and say, invest in this and don't spend your money on that, and save this and buy property and don't, whatever. So I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that at all. Oh man. That's awesome. What's your favorite food to feed your fish? Now, I know you have a variety, but do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I do have a favorite. I think my favorite is the Extreme Krill Flake.
Okay.
Now, full disclosure, I am sponsored by Extreme. I'm not paid. It's not a paid sponsorship. I do have those, but this is just food. Yep, there it is. Yep, is that the betta pellet? Yep.
That is.
So, so I'm sponsored by Extreme, so I can, reach out to Andy and Kita and tell them what I need, and I get a box, literally a box with tons and tons of food that's sent to me, whatever I need. But they have a food called Krill Flake. It's a flake food, and it is my favorite flake food that I've ever used. And it's the right consistency to where I can crumble it to a powder and feed newly hatched 5-star general fry, which are super tiny, because I can crumble it to a powder, or I can pour it into my peacock tank and my 6-inch peacocks will eat it. So and it's a food that my mud skippers will eat, my cichlids will eat, live bears will eat. I can feed it to pretty much every fish that I have except for my puffers and my Oscars. Everything else will pretty much eat it, and it's a great food. It's great quality. Yeah.
And just for kicks, I have a link and in this description if you want to go get that extreme stuff from fishkeeping.com. I have to just do a shameless plug. I get a little bit piece of that.
No worries. They're good people.
Definitely. Well, Zenzo Tazawa, I'm sure the chat could tell you what's about to happen to you now.
I guess this is the hotspot port.
Oh, there we go. It's that time, people.
All right.
We've done talked about fish. If you missed it, definitely go check out the replay. It's replayable. But we are now have entered into the hotspot, and this is how it's going down. Fishy Biz Aquatics and Tazawa Tanks. It's going to be a crazy one. It's a lot of streams on Monday, but this is going to be your favorite one. And guess what? I'm not going to play with them. Let's do it.
All right.
The first is your faves. You've given us a couple, so we're going to go straight to it. Favorite type of substrate?
Favorite substrate, aragonite.
Okay. Favorite filtration? Sponge
filters, or a sump. A sponge filter inside of a sump. I would say a sponge filter is my favorite.
I love that combo. Yeah. You gave us your first tank size, but what's your favorite tank size?
I like 40 breeders and 75s.
Okay, very nice. Give me two fish that are fishy friends that are, you see them all the time together. There's no problem putting them together.
No problem putting them together. Indian mudskippers and bumblebee gobies.
Okay. All right.
It's probably not one you hear often.
Okay. All right. And give me two fish enemies. Should
Two
never be
fish,
put together.
two fish enemies that can never be put together. Um, I don't know. Any large cichlid and any small fish will they'll become food.
I'm gonna say all things in Buna.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. That works too.
Favorite place to buy fish out there in the Bay Area?
There's a I probably have three favorite fish stores here, and I like them all equally and for different reasons.
Okay.
Ocean Aquarium in San Francisco is kind of that cool spot that has like that's where they don't do the water changes, and there's like tons of like aquascape tanks and just some cool fish that I've never seen before. So sometimes I've gotten some fish there that are pretty interesting. Sixth Avenue Aquarium is another aquarium that I like, another store. They have a lot of pretty rare fish as well, and is very reasonably priced. And then Hungming Aquarium is a fish store not too far from me that has a lot of cichlids. So if I want like bigger cichlids, or if I want to get good quality cichlids, then I would go there.
Okay. All right. Favorite bottom feeder?
Snails.
Okay. Any particular?
Nearite's my favorite. Malaysian trumpet snails, if they're not too overly populated, it's probably my next favorite.
Okay. All right. Favorite breakfast food?
Favorite breakfast food. Well, my favorite breakfast food is a food that I don't eat very often. So I would say French toast would be my favorite breakfast food.
Nice.
But I don't eat it very often just because it's not the best for me. So
Sure. All right. Favorite dessert?
I'm not a big dessert guy, honestly. But I like stuff with like. So I don't like anything with dairy in it because it doesn't do well with my stomach.
Mhm.
Even though I like the taste. So I would say anything like any kind of pie that has like fruit in it, pumpkin pie, berry pie, something like that.
Okay. All right. Favorite cereal?
Honey Bunches of Oats.
I like Honey Bunches of Oats.
Mm-hmm.
And they put them with the almonds too. I like almonds.
They've got the almond ones and the other ones. I always buy one of each when I go to the grocery store.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Go wrong with that. Favorite fast food joint?
So again, not a big fast food eater, but if I do get it, probably In-N-Out Burger.
Very nice. Very nice. I was just in Texas. They had both In-N-Out and Whataburger. I'm definitely a Whataburger fan, but I had to get them both.
Yeah.
Favorite restaurant? Sit in and eat.
Burma Superstar, which is a restaurant here in San Francisco that has Burmese food.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite.
Okay. All right. Favorite food to cook?
Barbecue.
Okay. All right. Are you jamming down on the ribs or pork steaks or?
I'm not a big fan
chicken?
of pork,
Okay.
so usually for me it's either chicken, and I'll barbecue chicken a lot, or like a brisket or a tri-tip.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I like charcoal over gas.
Okay.
99% of the time I'm using charcoal.
I'm always charcoal. Can't go wrong with the original, baby. I'm with it.
So my grill is both, where I have, one side is gas and one side is charcoal, and I probably use the gas side like 2 or 3 times a year, and then it's always charcoal.
Okay.
Yeah.
The big
wood. Yeah.
Okay. I can rock with wood too.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite type of music?
Ooh, this is tough because I'm all over. Like, I love music. There you go. If I were doing something besides fish, I would probably want to have like my own recording studio and like be behind the scenes, like mixing and like finding artists. That's a tough one because I have a very, very eclectic taste. Everything from Queen to Bob Marley or Peter Tosh to Public Enemy, EPMD, but I would say probably my number one is going to be R&B.
Very nice.
R&B, 70s through 90s. So everything from like, some Stevie Wonder, Al Green,
Yeah.
all the way up to like mid 90s, like Casey and JoJo, and
Oh my
all that
God.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
SWV, Jodeci,
All of it. Yeah.
Did we just become friends?
All of that. That's right.
That's what's up. I'm
Yeah.
with it all the way. Favorite wrestler?
I don't watch like WWE.
Just whatever your favorite wrestler
Yeah,
is.
I don't watch wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, I only know like the mainstream ones.
Sure.
Because I don't know all the others, but I don't know. I guess The Rock, just because I like him for other stuff besides wrestling.
Yeah. That's my guy.
Yeah.
You think you could take him?
In a real fight, maybe.
Okay.
He's way bigger than me, but I also grew up as a fighter. I won a state kickboxing title. I've got a black belt. I taught hand-to-hand combat in the Marine Corps. So even though he's probably 40 plus pounds heavier than me and much taller, I think I would know enough to know where to strike and get there quickly and get away. So maybe, no idea. Maybe I'll get crushed. Yeah.
Man, you just ran that question down. Take that, Joe Munoz. All right, music lover. Favorite karaoke to sing? What song?
Lately by Stevie Wonder, but the Jodeci version.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And next Aquashella, we got to find one of those. Oh my God, it's gonna be fun.
Not gonna happen.
Oh, you probably don't drink it, but favorite soft drink? Maybe you used to drink or have.
Not a soda guy. I probably have a soda once every 3 months, maybe.
What would it be?
Whatever they have, like, whatever someone's ice chest has. I don't. Could be anything. Could be Coke. Could be Pepsi. Could be a Sprite. I don't. Yeah.
All right, just whatever. All right.
Yeah.
Favorite app besides YouTube?
I don't know. Let me look at my probably Instagram. Well, no, because I don't like Instagram that much. I just opened it because of probably Netflix.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Favorite holiday?
Thanksgiving, because of family and no obligations to buy anything other than food, which everyone enjoys. So no presents, no nonsense, just family, get together, enjoy each other, laugh, have a good time, and eat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Favorite celebrity crush?
Kelly Rowland.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. She definitely did the song Dilemma with our hometown hero in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's a good one. Favorite ice cream flavor? You don't do dairy, but
yeah, probably mango sorbet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite car?
So I like cars.
Yeah.
I get, probably my E92 M3 is one of them. That's in my top list. It's the last naturally aspirated V8 M car. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I've got a list on my phone of all the cars. Probably 997 Turbo S. Probably the Ferrari F40, McLaren F1, Porsche 959. I could.
That's your thing.
We could do a whole stream on cars. Yeah.
We might have to come back and do that. That's extensive. Some expensive models and some pretty fast vroom vrooms.
Yep.
Favorite superhero?
The Hulk.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Simply put. Favorite sport?
I have two. Motorcycle racing and football.
Which one's your favorite?
I don't know. I watch more motorcycle racing than I do watch football now. So
okay.
yeah.
All right. Motorcycle racing, maybe not this question. Favorite position?
In sports,
Sure.
strong safety.
Okay. Okay. Favorite shoe ever?
So I'm not a shoe guy. I'm not a sneakerhead.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm
Are you a Crocs guy?
no. Probably flip. Probably. Oh, I forgot the. I forgot. I don't forgot the name. But there's a like my flip flops that I wear in Hawaii. It's
Okay.
like a nice leather pair that my wife bought me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite emoji to use?
Thumbs up.
Okay. Favorite game console?
I don't game at all. The last console that I bought was a PS2,
Okay.
which I think is sitting in my garage somewhere in a box.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Favorite movie?
Hmm. Let's see. There's a lot of movies. I'm a big sci-fi fan, so I love the Lord of the Rings trilogy,
Very nice.
and the Hobbit trilogy, but the Lord of the Rings trilogy more.
Mm-hmm.
I like the movie The Professional, Gary Oldman, Jean Reno. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of movies, but there's a couple that come to mind.
All right. So Lord of the Rings, are you a Potter fan?
No,
Wow.
I watched maybe 3 or 4 of the movies just because they were on, but
Sure.
couldn't tell you which one was which and who did what. Never read a book, never got into it. I think for me, because I'm older, so Harry Potter. I was already an adult when that stuff came out, so it wasn't like a kid that would like read the books and get all excited about it. Where The Hobbit, I was reading the books in 1980 something, so I did get excited about it when the movies came out.
Okay. All right. We can't be friends. Uh, favorite school subject?
Science, anything science, biology, anthropology.
Okay. All right. We're back to being friends.
Probably those, and then of course PE. But yeah,
Sure.
anything science related or physical or sports related.
Okay. All right. Most watched fish tuber.
Aquarium Co-op, because it's my job. I watch every video, every live stream. If I don't watch it live, it's my job, so I listen while I'm doing other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite seafood?
Ooh. Crab.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite pizza toppings?
I like probably pepperoni and mushroom together.
That's not bad. I love mushrooms. I
Yeah.
do love pepperoni. I'm with that all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Do pineapples belong on pizza?
Not on mine.
Really?
I mean, I'll eat it if someone has it, but I won't order it.
Yeah, I know they call it a Hawaiian when they put Canadian bacon and pineapples on it. I've had it before, and I never thought it would work, and I actually kind of like it myself.
Yeah, I mean, I've eaten it. It's just I don't like sweet and savory together. A lot of people like that sweet and salty together.
Sure.
It's not. Yeah. So if someone has it, I'll eat it, but I'm not ordering it. Yeah.
Most fish tubers really don't watch fish videos. If you're on YouTube, what is your favorite thing to watch?
Cameras.
Who?
Anything? Cameras.
Oh, cameras. I thought you said
Yeah.
KRS, and I was like, man, what?
Oh.
Okay.
He doesn't have one, but I did see him on something recently. I forgot what it was. Maybe it was the evolution of hip hop or something on Netflix.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. But yeah, anything camera related. Potato Jet is probably one of the channels I like to watch a lot. But anything that talks about cameras, I enjoy.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Did I do it all right?
Yeah, man. You
All
leveled
right.
up. Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
You leveled up. All right. This is either this or either that. Either this or
Okay.
either. All right. Hot or cold?
Hot.
Okay. Bath or shower?
Shower.
Short or tall?
I don't know what we're talking about. So short.
Okay. Goldfish or beta?
Beta.
Beta or guppy?
Beta.
Beta or killie?
Beta only because there's so many cool ones, including the wild ones.
Okay, beta guy. Arapaima or
Go ahead.
Yeah, Arapaima or alligator gar?
Arapaima.
Okay. Mammals or reptiles?
Mammals.
Starburst or Skittles?
Skittles.
M&M's or Reese's?
Reese's.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Great movie or a great show?
Great show.
Red Hulk or Green Hulk?
Green Hulk.
Tacos or burgers?
Burgers.
Bacon or sausage?
Bacon.
The pig or the cow?
Cow.
The chicken or the egg?
Chicken.
Mornings or nights?
Mornings.
Breakfast for dinner or dinner for dinner?
Dinner for dinner.
Weekday or weekends?
Oh, they're all the same to me now. I don't know. I guess before working for Aquarium Co-op, week ends, but now it's kind of all the blends together.
It's all in the same. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. YouTube Shorts or TikTok?
Ugh. Shorts only because I've made like two. I don't like TikTok at all.
That said it all.
Yeah.
Hot coffee or iced coffee?
I don't drink coffee, but very often. But when I do, it's a hot coffee.
Okay. Disney World or Universal Studios?
Disney.
Okay. Okay. Beach sand or mountaintops?
Beach sand.
A little late or super early?
Super early.
Brains or body?
Brains.
Butt or boobs?
Butt.
Nice. Fish sticks or nuggets?
Nuggets.
CVS or Walgreens?
CVS.
Fries or tater tots?
Fries.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Blade the Vampire Slayer?
Blade.
I gotta find somebody else besides Buffy. Who else is slaying vampires out here?
Underworld.
Oh yeah, what's her name?
Celine.
Celine. Very nice. All right, I'm changing that.
Yeah.
Celine or Blade?
I like Celine.
Ah, very nice. Okay. Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter?
Street Fighter.
Mario or Luigi?
Mario.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Lois Lane or Mary Jane?
Lois Lane.
Lois Lane or the chick from the Transformers?
Lois Lane.
Cash or credit?
Credit.
Okay. Plane, train, or car?
Car.
Home cooked meal or go out?
Home cooked meal.
Bikes or race cars?
Bikes.
Batman or Terminator?
Terminator. Batman's not a superhero. Let's just put that out there. He's just a guy with gadgets and money.
And a depression.
Yeah, he doesn't have any powers, you know? So.
Oh, Pac-Man or Donkey Kong?
Ooh. Pac-Man.
Okay. All right. Steak or chicken?
Chicken.
Mustard or ketchup?
Mustard.
Live performance or watch it on TV?
Live performance.
Richie Rich or Scrooge McDuck?
Scrooge McDuck.
I love these.
Are these people? Are these the viewers that are?
The last few were a couple in the
Okay,
chat.
all right.
All right. He did it, you guys.
All right.
He's back again. We've got our last round here. This is called Fill It In.
Okay.
Fill it in. My worst job ever was.
My worst job ever was when I was young and helping a painter, and my job was doing all the prep work for the painter, which means sanding, scraping, taping.
Oh, no.
It's hard work. Now I was a teenager, so whatever. We could probably averse to any kind of hard work, but that was a tough summer. Yeah.
Oh, God. You said Batman wasn't a superhero. R&B said, Zenzo, we can't be friends.
He's not. I mean, think about it. You could have, if you had Wayne's riches and had someone to build you all the gadgets and were fit and knew how to fight, that you could do it too. But, not everyone's a cyborg or can, fly or shoot lasers out of their eyes or whatever. So,
yeah, I mean, rich philanthropist, playboy, mansion. I mean, Iron Man was doing the same thing.
I'm not a fan of him either. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know what you should add is Marvel or DC. Marvel.
Okay. All right. And you know what? That was very good. Marvel or DC, Marvel it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with it. Fill it in. You already did your first job ever, correct? Did we do
No, that was my worst.
That was your worst job. Your first job ever.
Like first paid job, like besides like,
the
cutting grass or whatever.
Yeah. Ochart was a paper boy.
Okay. My first job was working at a real estate office, stuffing mailers and linking envelopes to send out for listings.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I was like 14 or 15. Yeah.
Okay. All right. By far the best vacation is
going to Hawaii with the family.
Okay. All right. The name
right
of my Oh, there it is right there.
Hawaii. Yeah.
Very nice. The name of my first fish was
I very rarely name fish, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay. You never have?
I mean, I've a couple, but
you
remember not my thing.
You remember a name?
Oh, like fish I have now? Like I have fish that have names, but it's I don't call them by their names. It's just
just what they are species wise.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You never came up with a fun name like Floaty or?
No, I mean, like when I first got some of the mud skippers, they were like the Three Stooges or something, and then I've got an albino and a regular tiger Oscar, and one's ebony, one's ivory, kind of a thing. But
okay, all right.
I'm not into naming my fish. They're just the fish.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I started off with African cichlids, and there's no point in naming those guys because they get roughed up, beat up, dead, jump out, whatever the case.
Right. Yeah.
If you could remake and star in any movie, what would it be?
Remake and star in a movie?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the remake of the movie would be you starring in it. What would it be? What movie would it be?
That's tough.
Got him.
That's a tough one. I mean, it could be something cool and science fiction-y.
Yeah.
What would be cool is a remake of the 5 Heartbeats.
Oh my God. This guy is amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
Who would you be?
Anybody that other than what's his name? That was it Ed, what's his name?
Leon.
Yeah, that's his real name, but what was his name in him? Yeah. Anyone but him.
Okay. I would be him.
Okay. Was it Eddie? Was that his name?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome. If you create your own dream tank,
Oh,
no,
that's easy.
no
Yeah.
money, whatever it is, as big as you want it, stock it with what you want. Let us know.
If I could keep my dream tank, and it's not a pond, it's a tank, I would have like a really long, let's say 12 feet long tank, maybe 12 feet long by
Right?
4 feet front to back,
Ooh,
maybe like 28 to 30 inches tall or so. And I would do African cichlids, and
okay.
I would have it sectioned off. So it would all be one tank with all the same water, but there'd be barriers in between.
Okay.
So like one side would be like Malawi with peacocks and haps and large
Sure.
umboon, etc. One section would be Tanganyikan, and
Okay.
then one section would be smaller Tanganyikans. So like you met like Frontosa and stuff like that in one, and then in the
Sure.
small in this other section you could do like
Pistos.
rock dwellers. No, those are South American, but
Those,
rock
yeah.
dwellers and shell dwellers and all kinds of little smaller Tanganyikan fish.
Compressiceps?
Yeah, they could be. They would probably go in the middle, the larger Tanganyikan side.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so like Juliochromis and Calvis and Brichardi and different shell dwellers, and just make like a really cool, like giant, 1,000-gallon thing where you could like look at it and like you could see like the Malawi section and Tanganyikan section, and like in the barriers would be like rock walls. So like
Off the chain.
yeah, that'd be cool.
First time we've got an answer like that. That is
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I like that. That's outside the box. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
That would be, oh man, that'd be crazy.
I've thought about it as so much to where like I've like drawn out like sketches on how it would be and like gotten the tape measure out to figure out how big it needs to be. So, yeah.
Like it. That's
Uh-huh.
good. All right. And the last part of the hotspot is if you got a problem, yo, I'll solve it.
Okay.
You notice a breeding pair in your tank. First thing you do.
Leave them alone.
Okay.
Just, I'm not trying to make more fish anymore. So, if they, if they're breeding and they're alone, then just let them do their thing. No need to do any water changes or anything. Just let it be because it's working. If they're in a tank with other fish, then we'll see what happens.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
If you got a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Parents are eating the babies.
Same thing. If
Just
it's a
leave it
fish
alone.
that
You want to-
if it's a fish I want to keep or I'm trying to make more of them, then I'll pull depending on the type of fish, I'll either pull the fry or pull the female if she's holding, and then let her spit and all that kind of thing.
Okay.
If it's just like my Mbuna and they happen to make more, and maybe she's holding 20 eggs and 2 survive, then 2 survive.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. If you got a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Fish has Popeye.
Well, it could be anything, right? So probably, check the water parameters, probably do some frequent water changes, make sure that I'm not doing any cross-contamination if there does happen to be some kind of disease that can go from one tank to the other. So just making sure that I'm not, dropping a hose in there into another tank or anything like that if I notice. But probably just try to, take care of the water quality. Maybe some meds depending on the fish and the tank. Maybe pull that fish out and put it in a hospital tank. Fortunately for me, I've got lots of space for I've got hospital tanks set up, so I could probably pull the fish and put it in its own tank if it's getting harassed by others.
Very nice.
It's easier to medicate and stuff like that in smaller tanks too.
Very nice.
Yeah.
If you got a problem, I'll solve it. Bully in the tank. What's the first thing you do?
Depends on the species. Depends on escape. Depends on what's happening. So, like one of my tanks, I've got the topaz cichlids. There's one that's the dominant one, but there's enough hiding spaces to where the one that's getting bullied is not beat up. It just has to live in one part of the tank.
So that's what you mean by depends on the escape.
Depends on escape, right? So if you have like lots of hiding places, then it's not an issue. If it's like there's no place to hide and it's getting beat up, then that's an issue. So like even like with peacocks. So with my peacock aquarium, I've got like some hornwort floating, so fish can kind of hide up in the hornwort. But what I do is I'll either put like a drainage pipe or like a ABS plastic pipe in there, like 2 inches diameter or larger, and float that in there or suction cup it to the back. So usually when fish hide, they usually hide high up in a corner or down low in a corner. So for peacocks, I usually go high up in a corner, and if they are escaping, they can go into these little tubes, and the bully doesn't get at them because they're protected in this little plastic cave. So it just depends on the fish. So usually I try to make the conditions to where if there is a tank bully or tank boss, it's not that big of a deal. The fish just deal with it, and they have a place to go. If the fish are getting beat up, then I feel like that's my fault for not allowing the fish to have a hiding place. So then I have to, either make a hiding spot or sometimes remove the bully. But usually I can just fix it by creating the right environment for the fish.
Okay. All right. You notice little white dots on a fish. It's ick. What's the first thing that you do?
ICX.
Straight to the med.
Straight to the med. I stock all the meds. So I've got everything. I do the med trio when I get new fish. I've got all the meds in stock. So I'm never like in a situation where like, oh no, I've got ick and I got to go to the store, but they're closed and I got to wait till tomorrow. They don't open till 10. So I've got like months supply of meds down there. So if something happens, I can, yeah.
So you're not a fan of driving heat and salt? Like, I guess
I've tried it before. Yeah. So the thing with, so the heat will accelerate the life cycle of the ick, right? So that how the cysts form and all that kind of stuff and drop. The salt obviously will help to get them off, but I've tried that before. It's not as successful for me as using medication. And when I use medication, I've never had an issue of reoccurrence, where I have had issues of reoccurrence when I've done the temperature and salt thing before. Gotcha. So, yeah.
All right. Makes sense. And you know what, chat? This is my first time. I'm doing it with Tazawa here. I'm gonna call this community chest, where I go to the community of my channel, and I'm gonna pick a couple of questions and see what you come up with. Best cell phone provider: AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, or other?
Well, I have AT&T.
Me too.
And I've had them for a long time. So I've had Verizon like 10 years ago.
Okay.
I know that they have large coverage, but AT&T's been fine. And a lot of the other carriers piggy bank on the other networks anyway, right? So if you're using T-Mobile or Sprint or whatever, sometimes you're piggy banking on someone else's network. So yeah.
I've had AT&T forever. Me, you, and 22% of the voters decided AT&T, but Verizon won at 36%.
All right.
Apple or Android?
Apple. I'm Apple everything.
You Apple people are. You guys are stuck.
Well, it's just because it's easy. So like I could take a picture with my phone, and then I can open my computer, my Mac. I'm on a Mac right now, and the photo's already there. I can then open my MacBook Pro, and the photo's there. I can look at an iPad, the photo's there. So it's just like you can AirDrop, you can do all these things. It's just so. And I was anti-Mac for a long time. I was all about the PC.
Sure.
And then finally, I just went in all in with the Mac, and it's great for video editing. So yeah. Yeah,
you're hooked. Apple, the voters, 34%. I am Android user, 66% of the voters. While driving, do you control your temper when being cut off? Do you honk uncontrollably with cussing and a middle finger? Or are you the one cutting off?
Any of the above, depending on the situation. So yes.
Okay. 42% says they control their temper. 38% honk uncontrollably. 19% are the ones that do the cutting off. Home Depot or Lowe's?
I'd say I shop at Home Depot a lot more.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. You and 48% do. 52% chose Lowe's, but I did forget Menards on here. It's new here in St. Louis.
Yeah, we don't have any here on the West Coast. So we
Yeah.
have Lowe's and Home Depot, and for me, they're kind of one and the same. It just depends on what's close to you. So, for me, I've got more Home Depots. I've got 3 Home Depots in within the same driving distance as 1 Lowe's for me. So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Who said it? That rug really tied the room together, did it not? Was it Ben Stiller in Zoolander, Owen Wilson in Wedding Crashers, John Goodman in The Big Lebowski, Will Ferrell in Anchorman, or Charlie Sheen in Major League?
Couldn't tell you. No idea.
Okay. And last question. Only dog lovers. Which is your fave? Big dogs, Rottweiler, German Shepherd, Mastiff, Great Dane. Small dogs, Shih Tzu, Chihuahua, Yorkie, Frenchies, are mid-size, Cocker Spaniel, Schnauzer, Bulldog, Beagles.
Well, I would say medium-sized dogs are probably my favorite, but I would say medium dogs would go up to like 60 to 70 pounds, maybe, like, golden retrievers, pit bulls. Like, I think they're kind of medium, and then Dobermans, I would even say, are kind of medium. I don't know, medium large. How about that?
All right, I'm with that.
Just like me.
Now, my last question is this. I asked Jason. Jason's pretty fit himself.
Right.
I asked him. I said, "Who does he think has more fitness? Is fitter?" And do you know what he said?
Well, if he's smart, he would say that Zenzo is fitter. But I don't know what he said.
He absolutely said that you were.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's definitely fit and he works out, and I know that he's been, doing some martial arts and stuff and getting active. But yeah, I've always been super fit my whole life, and it's just been, yeah.
That's awesome. Your routine, are you daily? Do you rep? Do you do arms every other day and then leg, or do you do the whole
Yeah,
thing?
I probably on average lift 5 or 6 days a week, and I would say that I'm like a power builder.
Okay.
So powerlifting is kind of the main, but also focusing on aesthetics and symmetry and mobility and stuff like that. So squat, bench, and deadlift, and those are the kind of the 3 big compound movements that I like to do. And then I honestly rarely do like curls and arms and stuff like that. I kind of do it like when I don't feel like working out. I'm like, nah, I'll just do some bis and tris or something today. But for me, it's more about like, overhead press and squats and bench press and, pull ups and all that kind of.
Now, are you in the point where you don't want to gain more muscle, or are you like toning? So is it like lightweight but heavy reps, or
no?
When you're power building,
my rep range is usually low to medium, just as far as number of reps, depending on what I'm doing. It could be as low as sets of 4 up to. Well, it could even be doubles, but sets of 4 to 10, depending on what I'm doing, and definitely usually heavier. Heavier than lighter would be.
Okay.
Yeah. So like if I'm bench pressing, let's say, instead of doing like something that I used to do is like 10 sets of 10 at 225 or 245. So instead of doing 10 sets of 10 at 245, which is great for hypertrophy and stuff like that. But it's not giving me the strength that I want. So I might just say, okay, so I'll just kind of go, work my way up and maybe keep my rep range at like, I might do 6 reps at 225, 6 reps at 275, 6 reps at, $2.95 and then $3.15 for 3 and $3.45 for 2 or something, just so it's kind of focusing more on the heavy stuff versus like doing the reps, lighter reps.
Well, those questions were just for you. That wasn't even in my list.
All right.
The people had to know.
Bonus.
Well, Zenzo, Tazawa Tanks, you went through the hot spot. I don't think you felt the heat at all. You got in there and got it cracking. I think maybe a couple of them did his thing, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was fun. Great to be here, and always fun to hang out and chit chat and talk about fish and other stuff. So hopefully people enjoyed watching. So thank you. I didn't get a chance to really read the chat at all, but hopefully everyone enjoyed it. Yeah.
Aquashella Chicago, you'll be there?
I am not coming to Aquashella. So originally I was scheduled to go to Peru, so obviously couldn't do that. But even I'm not going to Peru, I think I'm gonna just use that time to maybe take a vacation and do something else. So yeah.
Very nice. So no more Aquashellas, not even Dallas?
Possibly Dallas. Actually, yeah, we'll see. Had a meeting with Aquashella with Sean the other day. So I was up in Seattle and he was up there for Reef Works. So possibly Aquarium Co-op might be involved there, but don't know yet.
Very nice. Listen, we've been putting Tazawa Tank's channel in the chat for those who don't know, which I'm pretty sure everybody does know. Also, to look out for next week, Monday, I'll have Ryan from Wild Fish Tanks, also known as Lucky Schmuck, on. After that, I'm trying to get Lisa from KG Tropicals, and we'll work on that. The ACA will be here in St. Louis, Missouri. For those of you guys that might be able to make that, that's the American Cichlid Association. It's going to be a party, y'all. Other than that, if you're looking for anything fishy related, you can go to keepfishkeeping.com, hit my link in the description. Tazawa, thank you so much for coming up here, and I appreciate you on your Monday.
My pleasure. Great to be here.
All right, everybody, we're going to sign off, man, and I'm out of here. I'll see you guys Monday, 9 p.m. You already know what it is. And always remember, the wet stuff is the best stuff. And I'm out.